morning. This is Daisy from Gephardt Daily, and this morning I am talking to Kathy Richardson from the band Jefferson Starship. You guys are coming to Utah on May 20th, and you're going to be playing at the Sarah Shell Theater in Orem. We're super excited to have you.
I'm super excited too. This is actually my first time performing in Utah. I've never sung there before. I can't believe it, but it's true.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you the first thing. I know you joined the band in 2008, and the band has a long history with members such as Grace Slick and Paul Kantner. I wanted to ask you about the journey to you joining the band, and also what it was like to come in, with those, amazing musicians, the legacy behind you kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, the journey started when I was a kid and I first heard White Rabbit. And I was, I want to say I was in early high school, maybe freshman. And I heard it on my dad's oldies station. I said, what is this? Jefferson Airplane. Well, I've heard of Jefferson Starship. I've never heard of Jefferson Airplane. And then I became very interested. I bought the Worst of Jefferson Airplane album, and I listened to it over and over so many times that my mom actually knocked on the door and was like, "Are you okay?" Because you've been listening to that song over and over for 45 minutes or something. I'm like, it's so short though, and I want to hear it again and again. So that started my journey of becoming a fan, basically. And I've always been a singer and a musician and always wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to do what Grace Slick was doing, but I never really meant it quite that literally, I never dreamed that I would be in the band one day, but I used to go see him in concert, and I still have the t-shirts with holes in them and stuff and all the vinyl. Yeah, so it's pretty wild to end up being in the group. Never dreamed of it.
And was it because of the Janis Joplin connection that you came to join the group? Is that right?
Yeah, I was. God, there's lights flashing in my room down here. It's I think Paul is here.
It's very fancy. That light behind you is flashing.
Yeah, it's there's clearly an electrical thing going on down here right now. I was just gonna say, Janis. Yeah, I was singing around Chicago for years and years, running my own band and doing my own music, writing songs, putting out records and indie records and stuff. But I always would do a Janis cover in my show. And so people kind of got to know me for that. And when the show Love Janis came to town, Beth Hart was actually cast as the singing Janis, and she was just getting her first record deal and stuff, and so she couldn't do it anymore. So I ended up getting cast in the Chicago cast of Love Janis, which was a bio musical about Janis Joplin, and I sang the Janis parts. Fast forward many years after doing it off Broadway, I ended up in 2007 doing it in San Francisco, and I did it there for a while, and I moved to San Francisco, and then all of a sudden the show closed 5 days after I'd signed this lease, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And Sam from Big Brother and the Holding Company called and said, "Hey, it's the 40th anniversary of the Summer of Love. We're going out on tour with Jefferson Starship and some other bands. Will you sing with us?" So I was absolutely thrilled to be invited on that tour, which is where I met the guys in Jefferson Starship, and a year later I ended up joining the band.
Okay. And then that was going to be my next question about touring. I looked at you guys' tour dates, and you are just this is a long tour for you guys. I was going to ask kind of what it's like to embark on a long tour like that, and how do you keep the performances fresh every time?
Yeah, we over the years we've done such a wide variety. I mean, there's so much music to choose from in the Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship, and Starship catalog that we've had a kind of evolving set list, and then we had a couple years where we barely played at all, if at all, during the pandemic, lockdown years. So we're so excited to be getting out on the road again and playing live and getting back to the fans. But we really, it looks like a lot of dates when you look at it as a year, but I'm home for 10 days, then I'll go out and play a couple shows, come home. So it's a good balance of getting to go to have home life and be on the road and, get to see my family just enough. and we, it works really, really well. But when we go to Europe, it'll be, it's going to be a long time away from the kids. Like 3 weeks is a long time for us to be apart. And when we go to New Zealand, I'm bringing them with. So, because I'm thinking once in a lifetime, possibly a chance for us all to go to New Zealand and hopefully Australia too.
Do you have younger kids?
Yeah, they're 8 and 10.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Do they love watching Mom on stage?
Yeah, I mean, they really are more into like the green room snacks and just the availability of so many chips that they can't even understand. So when they come to the show, sometimes they watch a little bit, but mostly I find them in the dressing room eating chips.
Yeah, they're not interested. And actually, talking of being a mother, your newest album is called Mother of the Sun, right?
Yeah, and that's my son Hendrix on the cover.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah.
Tell me about that album. It seems, it's very socially conscious, and I really enjoyed listening to it.
Thank you. We started working on it just after Paul Kantner died, and we had kind of been given the blessing of the powers that be to go continue with being Jefferson Starship and actually encouraged, put out new music and, be weird and do what you want to do and use the microphone that you're given to say something meaningful. And so the first song we wrote was What Are We Waiting For? And that was really, to me, that was the launching point for the mood of the record and the theme of the record. The theme actually relates to, I'm going to get woo-woo here, but, Paul Kantner died, passed away, and I won't say who had a psychic, went to a psychic who gave all this information about Paul. Where are you, Paul? And he started drawing a constellation, spiritually, and it was Cassiopeia. So that was sort of, we use the Cassiopeia reference. The Cassiopeia has many names. One of them is Mother of the Sun and Moon. So that's where the title of the record came from. But you see on the album cover, there's a boy, that's my son, Hendrix, pushing a little wooden sailboat across a pond of stars. And Cassiopeia is in there. Cassiopeia is in all the imagery. So that's how that all ties together. And also in the tradition, the Jefferson tradition, I think China, Paul and Grace's daughter, is on an album cover. Bill Thompson's son is on the cover of Freedom at Point Zero. He was their longtime manager. And when the artist, Nick Muller, sent me the original cover, it was a different boy, and I said, oh man, would you guys mind if we put Hendrix in there? And they loved the idea, and it's really cool, and it's the artwork inside the album is really cool. We designed a specialty box, we call it the space box, where it folds down. I wish I had one here, I don't. It folds down to the size of a regular CD, and it opens up into a larger cube with a lid that opens, and there's beautiful art all around it that incorporates all the space images with mundane, everyday things, like a mom is handing a plate of food across the table, and it's a plate of space. It's really cool, really cosmic, and definitely I feel like something extra for the fans because, you know, they deserve it. They've been around so long, and they stay tuned in, and it's really cool.
And did Hendrix take any bribing to be on the album cover? Did you have to bribe him with sweets or anything?
I don't know that I had to bribe him at all. I was just like, we're doing this, and he was like, okay. And he was very excited when the album came, and he saw himself on the cover. And so I think our daughter is very jealous, actually.
Oh, she's gonna want your next album.
Yeah, she's cover, like,
right?
When we go, yeah, I've brought him out on the road, and we're at the meet and greet signing stuff at the end, and people want Hendrix's autograph because he's on the album cover. And they're like, well, how about me?
You're like,
here's my autograph.
Hang out in the corner.
She just forces her autograph on people.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So I was going to ask you kind of a random question, which is there a song that you wish that you had written?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, there's just so many great songs out there, everything, but I can't say I wish I had written them because I don't know, all those songs are such a touchstone in my life, and they, you know, I feel like music is a time machine as much as anything in such a visceral way, where you listen to a song and it takes you right back in your mind to a place and time. And so I mean, royalty-wise, sure, I wish there's a lot of songs I wish I'd written. But the songs that mean something to me, I'm grateful that someone wrote them and that I have them. You know, just the Beatles, John Lennon, you know, obviously Grace and Paul and all the Jefferson Starship people, you know, such a huge influence on me. Hart was a huge influence on me. Anna Nancy Wilson, Roger Fisher, Steve Foss and Michael DeRozier, all the you know, Howard Leese, all those people created this music that inspired me, and so many more since I mean, just I could go on, but I'm so grateful for music, just to have it in my life and have it to give me joy and purpose.
Did it help you through the pandemic, did you find?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there was a lot of that was really scary, and I know that everybody was really scared, you know, and just watching the news every day was just a terrifying experience. I actually got COVID in the very beginning, and I was sick for about 3 weeks, and I never was able to get it confirmed until long after, when I got an antibody test that said I'd had it. But at the time, it was right at the beginning. I couldn't get a test, and they just said, you know, don't come to the hospital unless you can't breathe. And so I just kind of laid in my bed scared for 3 weeks and had a sore throat that felt like I swallowed a golf ball, and my hair started falling out. And then, so I feel like I had long COVID. My hair fell out for months. I started having what people would describe as anxiety or panic attacks. And it was really, you know, a lot of that was really terrifying. And I am grateful that I had music. You know, my friend runs a church, and she's like, we're going online, and I know you're off the road, you could probably use a job, and, you know, will you sing at our online church 3 songs a week? And I sang through when I had COVID, and I feel like it helped me recover. It helped my lungs. I'm pretty strong. I don't know if I'm still as strong as I was before, but yeah, and then we did other things to keep busy. We did remote recordings. We recorded some Beatles songs because our manager just said, why don't you guys do this? And the Beatles channel on Sirius Radio will play it. So we recorded 3 Beatles songs, and we released those. We did a couple of remote videos that I ended up editing. And we released our record, which absolutely gave us, I mean, otherwise we had nothing to do. So we thought, let's just release the record. And we did tons of Zoom concerts, and I don't know how many interviews, but, you know, from home.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it absolutely helped through the scary times where we're like, are we ever getting out of this? Are we ever going to be able to play music again? The lights say yes.
Yes, they keep going on and on. What's chatting to you, I think. That was actually going to be my final question, that if you could pick like 3 or 4 musicians that you could have a jam with, alive or dead, who would you pick?
Alive or dead? Oh, wow.
Anyone.
Well, I mean, my hero, Ann Wilson, and Nancy Wilson. I did get to play with Roger Fisher earlier this year. He came to a show, and that was amazing. From heart, you know.
Yes.
Obviously, Janice, I mean, that would be so amazing to sing with her, or just, you know, it's cool. Like, Grace Slick has come to see us, and she sat in the front row and listened to me sing the whole show. I mean, that was pretty mind-blowing. Yeah, I mean, any Beatle at all.
Yeah, you're like, I'll take any of them.
Yeah. Yes. Gosh, I don't know. Is that enough names?
Yes, I'd say that would be a great lineup, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be amazing.
We can't wait to see you in Orem on the 20th. And I was just going to mention to people that for tickets, it's sarah.org or 801-255-ARTS. And is that a cat?
Yeah, that's Gigi.
She's like, I want to take part.
And she does. She really does.
And thank you so much for spending some time with us, Kathy. We really appreciate it. And I'll forward this as soon as it's ready.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time. We can't wait to see you.